What's the very best CPU air cooler that money can buy? That's the question this video aims to answer. I've taken 6 of the most popular high-end air coolers on the market, all of them priced at $70 and up. I've analyzed, tested, and compared them, and then come to a conclusion on what the best high-end air cooler is right now. Today's contestants are the Noctua NH-D15, the Noctua NH-D15S, the Phanteks PHTC14PE, the Be Quiet Dark Rock Pro 4, the Cooler Master Master Air Maker 8, and the Thermalright Legrand Macho RT. Out of all these titans, who will win? Let's test them out and see. The first category I'll be comparing these coolers on is price. These are the current Amazon prices, rounded to the nearest dollar. We can see the NH-D15S and the Legrand Macho RT are both tied for cheapest cooler, coming in at $80 each. Next is the Dark Rock Pro 4 at $88, then the NH-D15 at $90, then the PHTC14PE makes it all the way to $100, and the Master Air Maker 8 goes past the $100 mark all the way to $115. There's a $35 price difference between the cheapest coolers here and the most expensive. Will that make a difference in cooler quality? Will you get what you pay for? Let's find out with a deeper analysis of each cooler. High-end air coolers are usually the largest type of air coolers you can buy, because a large heatsink and large fans generally means better performance. With this large size, though, comes compatibility concerns. Will these coolers actually fit in your system? To determine how well each cooler is compatible with other parts, I turned to PC Part Picker's compatibility tool. Using this tool, I was able to approximate how many cases and motherboards each cooler was compatible with, and rank them based on their total compatibility. As you can see, the NH-D15S comes in with the best overall compatibility. This is no surprise because it's Noctua's compatibility-focused version of their flagship NH-D15. The NH-D15S has a relatively low height of 160mm and a slightly modified design that lets it fit in way more cases. Next is the Legrand Macho RT. It doesn't quite match the case compatibility of the NH-D15S, but it has even better motherboard compatibility. This earns it second place in overall compatibility. Next is the Dark Rock Pro 4, coming in around mid-range compatibility. The NH-D15 almost matches the Dark Rock Pro 4 with similar mid-range compatibility. Next is the Master Air Maker 8, which is very tall and suffers in compatibility as a result. Last is the PHTC14PE, which is also very tall and doesn't have the best motherboard compatibility either, putting it in dead last for overall compatibility. So it looks like the NH-D15S wins the battle for compatibility. But will its slightly smaller size affect its performance? We'll find out later in this video. Installing any CPU cooler can be a bit difficult, but some are much easier than others. After installing all 6 of these coolers, I ranked them on ease of installation from best to worst. Number 1. The Master Air Maker 8 is my choice for easiest cooler to install, mainly because its fans don't have clips, they just easily slide onto the cooler. There are a few issues with confusing instructions, but nothing that you can't figure out after looking at it for a while. Number 2. The NH-D15S is my choice for second easiest cooler to install. There is a bit of confusion with a "this side up" label on the mounting bars, which actually has to be installed upside down because it refers to the back. This is just a semantic issue though, which can easily be figured out. The fan clips are also a bit difficult, as is the case with most coolers. Number 3. The NH-D15 is nearly identical to the NH-D15S, but there is one extra fan to install, so it's slightly more difficult. Number 4. The Phanteks PHTC14PE comes in number 4 in ease of installation. The instructions tell you to remove the motherboard from your case before installing, but it's really not necessary. The instructions are also a bit confusing with the mounting bar orientation, but after staring at it for a while, I eventually figured out what they were trying to say. On the plus side, the fan clips are exceptionally easy to put on this cooler. Number 5. The Legrand Macho RT is my second to last choice in ease of installation. It has a lot of extra installation steps compared to these other coolers. It has a strange CPU spacer that doesn't seem to fit on newer Intel CPUs, and it has very difficult fan clips. Number 6. Lastly, we have the Dark Rock Pro 4, the most difficult cooler to install out of all of these. The instructions tell you to install the cooler outside of your case, and I would definitely recommend you do so. Installing inside a case can be extremely difficult. Either way, you're going to have to spend a lot of extra time getting the Dark Pro 4 installed. You will definitely have to remove your GPU in order to install the cooler fans, and the fan clips can take a very long time to get installed correctly. Now let's talk about appearance. What do each of these coolers look like? Appearance is very subjective. Everyone is going to have a different opinion on which coolers look good, but I've rated these coolers based on my own personal opinion of which ones look the best. Number 1. The Dark Pro 4. I really like the Dark Pro 4's design. It has a sleek black look and is one of the more compact coolers in this lineup. It's easy to color match with other parts, and the orange accent on its fans look quite nice. The black knobs on top give it a cool industrial look. Number 2. The Master Air Maker 8. The look of this cooler can be very polarizing. You either like LED lights or you don't. Personally, I think it looks pretty cool. I especially like the red and black color scheme, which goes well with other parts, like my MSI video card. It is definitely not subtle in the least bit though, so if you're going for a professional look, then this cooler is not the one. Number 3. The Legrand Macho RT. The Legrand Macho RT has a relatively simple look, but I think it looks very nice. It has a huge silver heatsink topped with a black cover. The fan is black and white, which fits very well with my fractal design case. Overall, a cool looking cooler with a unique offset design that shows off your RAM. Number 4. The NHD15. Noctua products are not known for their looks, especially the brown fans can be an eyesore for many, but I think the NHD15 looks classy and professional in its own way. I'm not a huge fan of the brown color scheme, but I do think the silver heatsink with the Noctua logo on top looks quite nice. Overall, a unique classy look, but very difficult to match the colors with other parts in your system. Number 5. The NHD15S. The NHD15S looks very similar to the NHD15. The only difference is it has one less fan and it has a slightly offset design, putting it closer to the top of the case. This just slightly modifies its look, but I think it makes it look a bit more awkward than the NHD15. They are very similar though, so not a big difference. Number 6. The PHTC14PE. The PHTC14PE is a huge black and white cooler with a familiar dual tower heatsink design. In fact, it looks very similar to Noctua's NHD15, but with a different color scheme. The look of this cooler though is just not very appealing to me. I think the black and white just looks too plain and makes it look a bit cheap. It does make it easier to color match with other parts though. But let's get real for a moment. Appearance is not the most important thing in a CPU cooler for most people. What really matters the most is performance. How well is your CPU cooler going to actually cool? So it's time to get to what you've all been waiting for, the performance benchmarks. I tested each of these coolers at 5 fan speeds, from lowest to highest, with a 95 watt CPU heat load. I then recorded noise and temperatures at each fan speed and graphed the results, giving you a complete picture of how each cooler performs over the full range of its capability. In these graphs, it's important to note that lower is better. We want low temperatures and low noise, so the lines that are lowest and to the left are the best. Starting off at lower fan speeds, we can see that the coolers all perform fairly similarly. The Legrand Macho RT in orange here does break away from the rest of the pack, giving slightly lower noise levels with better temps than the rest. This is likely due to its huge heatsink and offset design, acting as a great passive heatsink with very low fan speeds. Next, as we get toward middle fan speeds, we can see that the coolers start to differentiate from each other. The Master Air Maker 8 gets completely left behind as the other coolers achieve much lower temperatures with increased fan speeds. The Legrand Macho RT and the PHTC14PE perform very similarly at middle fan speeds, both a few degrees hotter than the frontrunners. And the frontrunners are the NHD15, the NHD15S, and the Dark Pro 4, all in a virtual tie at this level. As we get into the highest fan speeds, we can see that the Master Air Maker 8 is still left way behind the rest of the group. The PHTC14PE continues to be a few degrees above the best in the pack, matching the temperature of the Legrand Macho RT, which stops at a relatively low noise level compared to the rest of the coolers. The Dark Pro 4 also stops at a relatively low noise level, but matches the temperatures of the NHD15 and the NHD15S, which is quite impressive. The NHD15S continues to produce more noise without much drop in temperature, and the NHD15 produces even more, but neither of them lower temperatures much beyond this level. So looking at this graph, we can see that 3 coolers come out ahead of the rest: the NHD15, the NHD15S, and the Dark-Rock Pro 4. All of them perform almost identically, except at the highest fan speeds, where the Dark-Rock Pro 4 stops at a relatively low noise level, while the NHD15 and the NHD15S continue to produce more noise with a very small drop in temperature. Any of these 3 coolers would be a great choice if you're looking for top-tier cooling performance and low noise. The Legrand Macho RT does get a special mention if you're looking for a cooler that performs very well at low fan speeds, like say for a quiet home theater or audio production PC. It does fall away from the pack as fan speeds increase though, so it's not the best if you're doing anything more demanding on your PC. The Master Airmaker 8 was an especially disappointing performer, considering it's the most expensive cooler in this group, and performs the worst out of all of them. Definitely not the cooler of choice if you're looking for performance. The final category to compare these coolers on is warranty. You can see the NHD15S and the NHD15 are tied for longest warranty at 6 years, which is quite nice. You can tell Noctua has a lot of faith in the longevity of their products if they're willing to support them for that long. Then the Master Airmaker 8 and the PHTC 14PE come in at 5 years, also a very good amount of time to expect a cooler to last. The Dark-Rock Pro 4 comes in at 3 years, which is okay, but does make you question how much faith they have in the longevity of their product. Then the Legrand Macho RT comes in at only 2 years. I actually had to contact Thermalright to get this number because the warranty information wasn't anywhere on the Legrand Macho RT's packaging or instructions. Not a very good sign for long-term support for the Legrand Macho RT. So now we've gone over all the important characteristics of these coolers: price, compatibility, installation, appearance, performance, and warranty. And now we come to the most important question of all. Which high-end CPU cooler out of all of these should you actually buy? First, I'm going to give a runner-up award to a cooler that has a great balance of performance and looks: the Be Quiet Dark-Rock Pro 4. It's tied for first place in performance, and I think it's also the best looking cooler in this lineup, with a slick black color scheme that is very easy to color match with other parts. It does have a very difficult installation though, and it's only okay in other areas. But if you want a cooler that looks great and performs well, then the Dark-Rock Pro 4 is your best bet, even if it does have some downsides. However, the winner of this comparison is going to a cooler that has almost no downsides, and wins nearly every comparison you put it in: the Noctua NHD15S. The NHD15S is the cheapest cooler in this entire lineup and also the best. It's tied for first place in performance, has the best compatibility, tied for the longest warranty, and has one of the easiest installations, all for the cheapest price out of all these coolers. Its only weakness is its appearance. Some people may not like the plain brown and silver look, but it's pretty easy to get over this when the NHD15S is so good in every other area. If you really want a cooler that looks good too, the Dark-Rock Pro 4 is an excellent second choice. Otherwise, the NHD15S defeats all the rest of the coolers in this roundup with relative ease. Noctua really hit it out of the park with the NHD15S. Thanks for watching my video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to see more computer part reviews coming soon. If you'd like to support the channel, the best thing you can do is click the share button and share it with others on Reddit, Twitter, Facebook, forums, and other social media. I'm a new YouTuber, so every share helps a lot. See you next time.